Rochester. What's 8:30? It's not 8:30. It's right now. Unless you're in the UK, it would be 8:30 there. It's 5:30 here. Why is this not going live? Interesting. I've already gone live. I don't see it live yet. There we go. How's the sound? There we go. How's the sound? Sounds pretty good. Okay, excellent. Welcome back to the program. How's the sound? Whoops. Thought I turned on mute. So welcome back to the program, folks. I'm in Rochester, New York, where I'm going to meet refugees in about an hour. So how's it going? Welcome back. Chris is originally from Africa. He uses Africa time. I was on time. What are you talking about? This thing was set for 15:30, and I went live at 15:30. Some of you are smoking crack cocaine or your socks. I don't know what time you got set up in yours. I set it for the bottom of the hour, and that's when I went live. Exactly the bottom of the hour. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. Anyway, this is very awkward. This chair is so low. I had to stick 2 pillows on it. It's still too low. Very crazy. Yeah, so the picture here is beautiful, but the picture I'm looking at on my laptop looks kind of grainy. Why is that? I'm going over the internet, so it should be it's 81 megabytes. Well, 10:30 your time, that's because it takes time to get here and I had to get some food. I went to Burger Death and got some crappy burgers and ate those, and some mozzarella cheese fries, but they're really just mozzarella cheese sticks, but they were kind of tasty, not healthy, I'm sure. Okay, glad the picture is fine and you're in. Anyway, I'm streaming my laptop. I was drawing it for news, and also this is to get the stream, but I've got my glasses on so I can read your chat because it's so tiny. A year ago, I could read it, but that isn't the case anymore. Anyway, folks, good journey. Made up here in pretty good time. No issues with the time that I got here, so that was pretty good. And hopefully we'll have some refugees show up here in a little bit so they can meet with me. Week downstairs in the breakfast area. I've already asked if it's okay, and they said I can use the breakfast area down. But a little bit of snow outside. It's still coming down now. Yeah, it's still coming down. It's hard to see. Yeah, you really can't see them if I put up in the window. Good evening to you, Momo. So, how you all doing out there? How many refugees are you meeting? I don't know, Napoleon. It depends how many come. I don't know. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who knows? I'll find out when they get here. So we'll see. But this trip is twofold. Leaving tomorrow to return to Wales. Great long holiday. Okay. Oh, you're in South Africa, Neil. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Be safe getting out. Don't make a wrong turn at the airport. It can be deadly. But seriously, be safe getting out of South Africa tomorrow, and safe journeys home to the UK. Yeah. So great, man. Thank you for last night's interview as a color family who has done our pre-screening reviews. You gave us so much hope. We're in the process. Well, you're very welcome for that, Desert Roses. I mean, I've said it all along. That's why I'm still puzzled about where the whole brouhaha was, where people blame me for their feelings being hurt over something that was never said in my chat, or it was said in a way that they just were overly sensitive about, and blame me for it and left my channel. That really hurt my feelings. It really did. I haven't really complained about it much, but that really, really hurt me. I defend colors. I stand up for colors in South Africa all the time. And the people in the chat were saying things were being said, and there was no evidence of it. And I told them, and then finally, after, messages back and forth, emails, I get half the story, half the story, half the story, half the story, a third. Eventually I get the story. So that really frustrated me. So, but whatever. Thank you for being here. And yeah, no, it's not the first color family I've interviewed. I've interviewed another family that's here, but they weren't comfortable going on camera. So that was a while back. I've had a few interviews with people that are off camera. So tonight, I don't know if anybody want to go on camera, but I'll give them the opportunity tonight or tomorrow to do an interview. Probably be better to do some of them tomorrow, but it might be nice just to stream the meet and greet tonight if people want to. Don't not come here because you think I'm going to stream it. I won't stream it unless people say it's okay. I mean, I don't just put people on camera without their permission. I protect their identity as best as possible. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that after a long drive. And yeah, I was okay most of the way. Feet started bothering me a little bit there in the last hour, but then it calmed down. I think my blood pressure went a little bit because I was chatting. So what's with the chat? It just died off here. It's Minnesota protesters cross line. Those Minnesota protesters are going to go to jail. That's a federal felony offense. If Pam Bondi is worth her salt, there will be charges and there will be SWAT teams arresting Don Lemon and all these scumbags. I always believe you, Colonel, since last year. Thank you so much for that, Desert Rose. I really appreciate it. Terrible drivers. No, the driver. Oh, yeah, in South Africa. Yeah, the drivers are bad, Neil. It was amazing to watch. They are an amazing family. So nice. Was Charles Kleinhaus not originally placed? No, he was originally placed in Buffalo, Guy, which is located about an hour west of here. Ignore the hate. Why are they giving these people that much attention? Which people's that were? I get lots of hate. There's lots of people that just can't stand the truth and their feelings get hurt. So, it happens. It's what happens when you're over the target. Lots of people threatening me. You guys, I mean, I've been getting threats for years, but the death threats have stepped up a bit. And it's just, of course, the people that make the threats are not the ones who are going to do it. It's the cowards that fill this up. If you form it, my son, 21st November, even first call today. So there you go. 2 months later, and it wasn't really 2 months because some of the time wasn't there. What about what's Corp Bor? What is that? What is Corp Bor? I have no idea what Corp Bor is. What is that? Yeah, Momo, it got a little dicey there just at the end. Just with about 8 kilometers ago, suddenly the snow came up and the roads were covered and the traffic slowed down. It got a little dicey, but my turn off, fortunately, was okay. I got to it. I made my turn and got here okay. So yeah, lots of crazy stuff happening. The Europeans are losing their minds. They're going batshit crazy over President Trump's tweets, or not tweets, his text to the Prime Minister of Norway. And I actually have those, folks. What the hell's it at? Why is okay, here we go. So these are the messages, okay? This was sent to Trump Sunday, yesterday at 3:48 p.m., presumably East Coast time. Chat is still okay. Hey, Shawnee, what's going on? Welcome, Corp. Still know what that means. You mean Colonel? I have no idea what you're talking about. How are you doing in a world gone mad? I'm doing okay, but the world definitely has gone mad. So this is the text message that the Prime Minister of Norway sent to President Trump on Sunday. And then we'll hear President Trump's response. So the New York Times finally caught up hours later. I got it right in the moment I went live this morning. New York Times with the whole staff and multi-billion-dollar enterprise reported fake news saying it was a letter. There was no letter. CBS got it correct. And based on CBS's reporting and my inability to believe the nonsense in the BBC, Reuters, PBS, and New York Times, I said it can't possibly be a letter. It doesn't make any sense. It is a text message. Dear President, dear Mr. President, dear Donald, on the contact across the Atlantic on Greenland, Gaza, Ukraine, and your tariff announcement yesterday, you know our position on these issues, but we believe we should all work to take this down and de-escalate. So much is happening around us where we need to stand together. We are proposing a call with you later today with both of us or separately. Give us a hint of what you prefer. Best, Alex and Jonas. Okay. Now, the text message response from Trump, which came 4:15 p.m., which was about 20 minutes later, so 12 and 15, 27 minutes later. Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, all caps, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China. And why do they have a right of ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we have boats landing there also. I've done more for NATO than any person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, and the Europeans are losing their minds. Understandably so. I get why some are losing their minds. It's crazy. They're absolutely losing their minds. And this is all on the heels of the Davos summit. Hey, Broken Arrow. Oh, I'm not discouraged, yeah. Family emergency salary, okay. I'm sorry you have a family emergency. Now somebody in the room across from me is getting vacuumed. It's a bit late in the day. They're a little behind in cleaning rooms. So the World Economic Forum is about to open. World leaders headed Davos for high-stakes talks as AI investment fuels optimism, but geopolitical tensions darken the mood and drive up the price of gold and silver, both about to hit record marks. Gold is approaching $5,000 an ounce, which is batshit crazy. It's not worth that. And silver is approaching $100 an ounce, which is about $80 overvalued. There is going to be a big fall in those commodity markets at some point. Yeah, so I said to people on the ground, don't hate each other in South Africa. Trump is a real estate investment, wants to make the biggest real estate deal of his legacy. I think you're right. Helen, I still be arrested. Glad you're safe. So did you hear Malema being sentenced on Friday? Not sure. No, I know that. It's 23rd. I'll be home. I'll be covering that as long as it's a reasonable hour. And it is a world gone mad, folks. A GoPro cam with dual cameras when you're doing these road trips. I have a GoPro, but they're a piece of shit. GoPro is a rip-off, waste of money. I bought it, didn't work out of the box. The battery was dead. I bought another battery. It didn't work for shit. I took a GoPro on January 6th. I'm not impressed. If they come down less than 100, Jiminy Crickets, I don't know if you can hear that. Maybe the mic cancels that, but that's really disturbing me. She stopped. Yeah, if a GoPro comes down a reasonable price, I might buy a new one. But the one I have just sucks. It just sucks. was a waste of money. I bought it at the PX. It was a total waste of money. Well, first off, Napoleon, they don't have to take back any of the bases in Europe. They're their bases. Okay, they belong. I mean, they may be our bases in Germany, but the bases in England are all RAF bases, Royal Air Force bases. They're not our bases. The bases in Spain are Spanish bases. The bases in Germany belong to us, but that's a status of force agreement. And if Germany violates the status of force agreement, we're going to have some serious shit. Yeah. So those are actually our property. But the ones in Spain, in Italy, I believe they're also our property too. But I'd have to double check. I'm pretty sure they are. But the bottom line is that the ones in England don't belong to us. The ones in Spain don't belong to us. The ones in Greece don't belong to us. They're local host nation bases that we use, that they give to us. Well, they can take them back, but they can't defend themselves. So good luck with that. I don't think they're going to be that stupid. Getting America to send, 80, 100,000 troops back to Europe is going to be impossible if we leave. We've already drawn down from over 500,000 troops to just under 100,000 now. And any further reduction in U.S. force is going to be detrimental to the transatlantic alliance. So if they want to complain about Trump being detrimental, they're the ones who are going to be detrimental, and they're the ones who are going to cause these problems. I'm trying to get that light a little bit better. Light keeps adjusting there. So good evening to you, Thing of Nouns. How is that? How are the refugees? I don't know how many. I don't know. We'll find out. Too many options, too many information available to people. AI not helping. Some people can't tell the difference. You're right, Helena. That's the problem, and that's one reason why I'm here. I'm here to help people tell the difference between what's real and what's not. So, for instance, when the New York Times, when PBS, the New York Times, Reuters, and the BBC all spread fake news today, saying Trump sent a letter to the Norwegian Prime Minister, and they had a copy of it, but they couldn't produce the letter. I call bullshit. I said bullshit. There's no way that there's a letter. It doesn't make any sense. It's either the biggest punk in history, or these people are lazy journalists. And sure enough, I went and looked, and I found CBS actually shared the link to the Prime Minister of Norway's website, where he shared the text of the text message. It was a text message. Now the media are correcting the record, but no one will hold them accountable for this. No one will hold them accountable. Just like, they're not talking at this hour about Don Lemon being a wanted felon. Don Lemon is a felon. He committed a federal felony violating the FACE Act, a law passed in 1994 under a Democratic Congress, and Bill Clinton is president, which makes it a federal felony to obstruct abortion clinics and to intimidate or obstruct religious proceedings in America. And that's what they did. And then this moron goes out there, Don Lemon, says, oh, well, it's my constitutional right, the right to protest. You have no such right to protest. You have the right to seek redress from the government, not from a local organization. You can't protest without a permit, without authorization. And he trespassed. He went in and he's like, don't touch me. Nobody was touching him. I would have thrown his ass out. I would have picked him up and thrown his ass out in the street and called the police. And next time at that church, I would have armed guards outside menacing me, like the Black Panthers, threatening these people. These people are scumbags, disrupting a worship service. They have no respect for faith. But my goodness, you stand outside a mosque and say something bad, oh my God, they'll lose their freaking minds. They will lose their freaking minds if you stand outside a mosque. There's no reciprocity here whatsoever. I don't know about 25 million foreign nationals in South Africa. It's more like 6 million. Yeah, I think there. Yeah, thank you, Becoming Dragon. But the bottom line is that people really, a lot of people can't judge for themselves. And I get that. They don't have experience. They're caught up in a world where all kinds of nonsense has been going on for years. The practitioners of disinformation have been spreading their bullshit now for ever since before COVID, and they've got quite good at it. I mean, people still believe Ramaphosa that the America has been aggressive to South Africa. What a comical joke that is. Is anyone in America talking? Is Trump talking about South Africa? No. Should we be talking about something? Hell yeah. South Africa has a company that was founded by the ANC that has shipped, according to the Department of Justice, illegally defense material to the Chinese Communist Party, to the People's Liberation Army. That should be front page news everywhere. But when I look on News 24, I look on IOL, I look on, well, I haven't checked the Daily Maverick. Let me try that, Daily Maverick. Maybe they've got some. Daily Maverick. There we go. dailymaverick.co.za. No, they're talking about the floods. Okay, that's fair enough. But then it's MK and agility. And then whining about Trump. And then they talk down here about Ramaphosa fire engine was shaking all top officers involved in the Iran fiasco. Oh, I think Ramaphosa should be fired. And the IMF, not one mention here, not one mention in this at all about South Africa company violating the law. Oh gosh bless it, my mouse is getting kind of crazy here. What's going on? It's getting old. I'm gonna have to replace this mouse. The little rubber wheel is dying on me there. Probably buy another one. All right, but yeah, it's I've had this mouse probably for 15 or 20 years. It's wearing out on me. Yeah. There's nothing on Daily Maverick that covers it. It shows you that they're not real news organizations. They're just chasing clicks and not covering your own story. The story about South African companies shipping defense material to China should be a top story in the news. Where is that at? That's a story for Peter Fabricius. Love to see him cover that story. He's a good journalist at the Daily Maverick. Why isn't that story being covered? It's interesting. That should be front page news, front and center. But it's not. It's just not. It's not. Qatar Airways is bumping up the number of flights to South Africa. So that made front page news on News 24. The founder of Black Panthers founded in the 1960s. Who's in an ICU? John, my good Lord. Why is everybody, what's going on ICU, man? I hope you're okay. Sorry to hear about that. So an organization that I used to donate to, that, well, I'm not going to give any more money to, Oxfam, just they hate success. They hate success. They're attacking billionaires, saying that Elon Musk leads a highly dangerous and unsustainable record surge in billionaire wealth. What a comical joke that is. What a joke that is. That's simply not true. That's a lie. Utter nonsense. Oh my goodness. Billionaire wealth surged at 3 times its recent pace in 2025 to reach its highest level on record. So what? So what? Half the world lives in poverty. No kidding. That's what I've told you. Try living in South Africa. Lots of people. Yep. Lots of people live in poverty. That doesn't mean other people have wealth that are causing it. Here's some bad news if you live in Gauteng, folks. You have to cut your water by 40% or isn't going to be any water. They're going to start putting restrictions in place because they've screwed up. The ANC failed to complete the Highlands Water Project because they saw money they could put in their pocket and just too lazy to build anything. They haven't built jack shit. What has the ANC built? A couple soccer stadiums in its 31 years? They've just destroyed everything. Yeah, they are afraid of Elon Musk. Yep. Yikes. Yeah, what's going on in the ICU? You don't have to tell us if it's personal, but yeah, I mean, so what has the ANC built? Not a damn thing. And now 40% water rationing. The drive was lovely, Iceman. I guess, hey, I haven't seen you there. I guess you weren't catching the other streams. The snow wasn't so thick and you got stuck behind it. Yeah, it was pretty lame, the snow, but people got crazy. How many struck water in there floods? Well, it's a good question. It's because the reservoirs aren't filled by rainfall in Gauteng. You get your water from the Highlands Water Project in Lesotho, big chunk of it. Yeah, they built their bank accounts. They didn't build any infrastructure. They've destroyed it all. If they finished the other 2 phases of the Highlands Water Project, Gauteng would be awash in water and Lesotho would be rich because there'd be plenty of money going that way. Director General of the Department of Water and Sanitation, Sean Phillips, states that despite many well-crafted rescue plans, most municipalities are trapped in a vicious downward spiral with high levels of non-revenue water leading to inadequate funding for maintenance, which in turn leads to worsening infrastructure and even higher levels of non-revenue water. Generally worried about water services delivered by municipalities everywhere in the country. In Gauteng, where the problem is not so much the availability of water, but the lack of municipal storage facilities that causes long outages. Much stricter action. So why didn't you build water towers? Why every freaking town in America has got a water tower? Why don't you have a water tower? I mean, that's ridiculous. It's a standby of Hollywood. You know, the water tower is always somewhere kids go up and hang out and drink alcohol and stuff like that when they're not supposed to. You know, water towers? What the hell? You have no catchment areas? What a bunch of morons. Good night, Helen. Sleep well. Yeah, they think if they change the name, something no one can pronounce, and they own it and they built it. They didn't build jack shit. The European Union countries are blasting the Trump tariffs, and they're talking about a World Cup boycott. You know what? My initial response was, what a shame that be. My second is, I don't really give a crap. It's not a real sport. It's a candy-ass sport. Soccer, football. Oh, yellow card, he touched me. Crooked officials who get bags of cash in their hotel rooms to cheat and throw games. No, thank you. We've proven that FIFA is one of the most corrupt racketeering organizations on the planet. Sepp Blatter, is he in prison now? He ought to be in prison. 80-year-old turd. Yep. Trump vowed on Saturday to implement a wave of increasing tariffs on EU countries, Denmark, Sweden, France, Germany, Netherlands, Finland, along with Britain and Norway, until the U.S. is allowed to buy Greenland. All 8 of those countries already subject to U.S. tariffs of 10 to 15% have sent small numbers of military personnel to Greenland as a row with the United States or the future Denmark's vast Arctic island escalates. You mean their vast Arctic colony. Tariff threats undermine transatlantic relations and risk a dangerous downward spiral, the 8 nations said in a joint statement published on Sunday. As does your neglect of Greenland for 50 or 60 years. Yeah, it's no loss if banana doesn't make it there. Bafana. Yep. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said in a written statement that she was pleased with the consistent messages of the rest of the continent, along with Europe, will not be blackmailed It's blackmail what he's doing. Dutch Foreign Minister David van Wiel said on Dutch television. Cyprus, holder of the rotating EU presidency for 6 months, summoned ambassadors to emergency meeting in Brussels on Sunday. A source close to French President Emmanuel Macron said he was pushing for activation of the anti-coercion instrument, which could limit access to public tenders, investments, or banking activity, or restrict trade. So the European Union is taking a drastic, nuclear option here. They want to invoke their anti-coercion instrument, which has never been used. If this does happen, the predictions that came last year with Trump's tariffs are likely to become true now as Europeans cease trading with the United States. This will lead to global recession and economic pain for everyone. These are Europeans being stupid. Talk to Trump, appease him in some way, or make security guarantees that he's happy with. But this nonsense of talking about an anti-coercion measure is simply going to push the world into depression. What a bunch of dumbass leftist liberals run Europe. Stupid. They don't know how to negotiate. Trump has put a negotiating position out there. It's a radical negotiating position, one that I wouldn't put out there, but Trump has put a negotiating position out there, and these idiots are acting like children. That's not what they should be doing. They should be acting like adults, but they don't seem to be capable of that. Yeah, anyway, so it's just crazy. Crazy what's going on. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who's close to the U.S. president and some of the other leaders, described the tariff threat as a mistake, and she had spoken to Trump a few hours earlier and told him what she thought. He seemed interested in listening. She told a briefing of reporters during a trip to Korea. And exactly, he was interested in listening. So obviously he's putting a mark out there. Larry Pinkney, from the Black Panthers. Asked how Britain would respond to new tariffs. Culture Secretary. Why is the Culture Secretary talking about tariffs? Lisa Nandy said allies need to work with the United States to resolve the dispute. Well, that's a smart approach, though. Our position in Greenland is non-negotiable. It's in our collective interest to work together and not start a war of words, she told Sky News. The European Union now looks like it's going to suspend the trade deal that the U.S. worked out with Europe, even though Trump's only putting tariffs on 8 of the countries, not all 27. Yep. Yeah, they were supposed to vote on this January 26, 27 to remove the tariffs on the U.S. Yeah, they do need to follow leader. They have no ideas on their own, I agree. German Christian Democratic leader Jürgen Haidt also mooted what he told Bild magazine, a newspaper, could be a last resort to bring President Trump to his senses on the Greenland issue. Well, insulting President Trump, you stupid kraut, is not going to solve the problem. We need to bring you to your senses and stop spying the Alternative for Deutschland and stop painting them as racist. The racists are you bigot bastards who hate Germans. Germans who hate Germans. Self-loathing pricks. Yeah, Ursula von der Leyen. That's right. She's a liar. Yep. It's crazy world, but God, what's with this thing? So what else have I got here? Trump is pushing the U.S.-Europe alliance onto a precipice. As President Trump tries to coerce European leaders over Greenland, they're pondering unthinkable. Is an 80-year-old alliance doomed? Well, they said Trump was withdrawing from NATO last time, which was a total lie. There was never anything he ever said. He never did it. And instead, he got European lazy shitbirds to contribute to the defense, which they should have done all along. So what happens to an 80-year-old diplomatic alliance when its leading power threatens a military invasion of one member, wages economic war on the others, and vows to cultivate political and cultural resistance to their governments? Is the alliance doomed? That's a question being asked in capitals across Europe as leaders rush to respond to President Trump's rapidly escalating campaign to acquire Greenland over the objections of the people who live there. At issue most urgently is whether resisting Mr. Trump's territorial ambitions risks damaging Europe's relationship with the United States beyond repair. Well, what I think is going to happen is that Denmark is going to make a gambit here. If Trump is serious, they may be forced to grant independence to Greenland, and then the whole game changes. They'll grant independence to Greenland rather than risk Trump taking it from them. I bet you that's what's coming down the pike. Yeah, we'll see, though. We will see. So the text messages, man. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, former Prime Minister of the Netherlands, said he discussed security in the Arctic with representatives of Denmark and Greenland at the headquarters of the military alliance today, as leaders across Europe continue to criticize President Trump's threats to seize control of the island. In a text message, Norway's leader on Sunday, Trump said he no longer felt obliged to pursue a peaceful solution to the crisis because he's not awarded the Peace Prize. That's beyond the pale to actually believe that he said that, but obviously he did. In the text message. Pretty crazy what Trump said there. Anyway, Trump's trade negotiator says the response to the Supreme Court defeat on tariffs will be immediate. If the Supreme Court strikes down President Trump's tariffs, the Trump administration plans to begin replacing them almost immediately with other levies, James Singer said. Greer is Trump's top trade negotiator, said on January 15th interview with New York Times that following any adverse ruling, the administration would start the next day to reestablish tariffs to respond to the problems the president has identified. He expressed optimism the Supreme Court, which is reviewing the case, would rule in the administration's favor. Reality is the president is going to have tariffs as part of his trade policy going forward. Now, the Supreme Court has been weighing the legality of the president's use of a 1977 law. He's following the law, but their question is whether the law is legitimate, called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, to issue tariffs on trading partners globally over the past year. The court could rule in the coming weeks, potentially as soon as tomorrow, to revoke some or all of the authority. Alternatively, the court could decide to allow the president's approach. In the last year, Trump has made numerous international emergencies, declared numerous international emergencies to swiftly raise and lower tariffs on trading partners for a variety of reasons. Yep. So we'll see what happens at the Supreme Court, but that decision is coming. Spain now 40 dead in that train wreck. Spain is scrutinized in the train tracks after two trains collided. They're thinking the rail snapped, apparently. Crews are working to retrieve bodies after two high-speed trains derailed in southern Spain. The regional authorities said 41 people were hospitalized with dozens in intensive care. At least 40 people are dead. They're scrutinizing the rail. It said it split, and that's what caused it. British Prime Minister says the United Kingdom is a censorship regime going the same direction as the Australian censors. They have no options off the table as calls grow to ban social media for under 16. Well, my call is to allow children to use it, but to have responsible parents. Buy Greenland, offer 500,000 each citizen, get him a yes vote in referendum. Yep. Got to go. Okay. Sorry to see you go there. Fit Nut Innovations. Okay. How many likes do we got? 86. That's cool. 162 people currently here. But the UK is looking at banning the social media from children. Idiots. This follows Australia's move. Censorship. In the land of free speech, the place we got the Magna Carta that limited King John's authority and gave more rights to the nobles initially, but eventually everyone got these. We are seeing a regression. It is a censorship state. The United Kingdom is illegitimate. Its government censoring its citizens, putting people in prison for making jokes and saying things online. It's unbelievable. Muslims can desecrate Christian churches by stopping on their grounds and praying. They can block traffic by lying down and submitting to Allah 5 times a day, harassing citizens, causing chaos, and that's okay. But an English citizen complaining about Muslims in England is grounds for imprisonment. This is a country that's lost its fucking mind. The United Kingdom is not a real country. It's a joke. It's an embarrassment. Its military is smaller than a bowling team. Yep. That's right. The state stepping in for lazy parents. Yep. People think that the state should parent for them. It really irritates me. Right, folks. We're going to go for a couple more minutes and then I'm going to break and go down for my meet and greet, which is at 4:30. But I want to get there early in case people start coming early. I don't know if anybody is. But the World Economic Forum is about to launch and we shall see. Will Klaus Schwab be there wearing his diapers and, his cuckold outfit? We'll see. The WF says it expects a record 400 top political leaders, including 65 heads of state and government and 6 leaders from a group of 7, as well as nearly 850 CEOs and chairs, and close to 100 unicorns and technology pioneers. President Trump is slated to take part in organizing the delegation of the United States will be the largest in Davos history. We're pleased to welcome back President Trump to Davos, and he's bringing the largest U.S. delegation, said WEF President and CEO Borge Brende, who said, adding that Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner are also planning to participate, as well as a large bipartisan delegation from the U.S. Congress. They framed around 5 broad challenges here: cooperation in a contested world, unlocking new sources of growth, investing in people, destroying innovation responsibly, and building prosperity within planetary bounds. Okay, that's interesting. Organizers describe media as a platform for dialogue at a time of rising fragmentation, increasing complexity, and rapid technological change. But of course, it's WEF, so what could we possibly trust from that? President Trump has repeatedly signaled that he views global trade and security relationships through the lens of U.S. national interest. The stance has complicated ties with European allies, even as the administration insists the transatlantic alliance remains strategically important. Yep. Last year, he used a remote appearance to pressure OPEC to lower oil prices, but now he's going to be there in person. He will be there in person. So we'll see what happens. The Trumpster is going to be there. So where the heck is my studio here? There we go. Anyway, I have a serious issue with that kind of control, even more of an issue with parents who agree with it. Reminds me of the old Southern police state. Exactly, censorship. People who've suffered censorship like I have don't like it. And you shouldn't be censoring children. You should be responsible. Yes, Don Lemon belongs in jail. Unspeakable evil bastard. Yep, I agree. 100% with that statement. All right, folks. That's going to do it for this one. I don't know. I might, excuse me, I might have a stream a little bit later, or I might record it if any refugees want to do an interview, and we'll let you know. But that's going to do it for this. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it. There's 155 of you there. Thanks for watching my third stream of the day. Look for many short notice streams coming up tomorrow as well, as I cover events here in Rochester. I'm going downstairs to meet refugees right now, and I hope some folks show up. For the rest of you, thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button, and we'll catch you later. God bless.